Okay, so Google just dropped something that could totally change how you use your phone. It's called FunctionGemma. And get this, it's basically an AI brain that lives right on your device. We're talking no internet, no cloud, and absolutely no delays.
Now, I mean, really think about that for a sec. What if your phone's AI just worked instantly, offline? What if you could tell it to do stuff and it just did it without ever sending your data off to some server in the cloud? That's what we're talking about here. No lag, no creepy privacy concerns. It's a huge promise.
And this really breaks it down. On one side, you've got cloud AI. That's pretty much everything right now. You talk, your request shoots across the internet, a server thinks about it, and then sends an answer back. It's slow, and who knows what's happening with your data, right? But then you look at the other side, on-device AI. Everything happens right here, in your hand. It's fast, it's totally private, and it doesn't cost a thing to run.
So this whole on-device thing, it's not just a small tweak. It's paving the way for a totally new kind of assistant.
You know how it is right now. You ask your phone to do something, and your voice literally travels, maybe thousands of miles, to some giant data center. That whole trip back and forth, that's the annoying lag you feel. And yeah, it's also why a lot of us are starting to wonder, hey, where's my data actually going? So what's the magic making this all possible? Well, it's a new model from Google, and it's called FunctionGemma. Let's dive into what actually makes it tick. All right, so FunctionGemma is Google's new baby. It's lightweight, it's open source, and here's the most important part. It was built from the ground up to run on your phone. You know, a device that doesn't have the power of a giant server farm. We're talking about the thing that's probably in your hand right now. And this is where it gets kind of wild. It pulls all this off with just 270 million parameters. Now, you can think of parameters as sort of like the neurons in a brain. The giant AIs in the cloud, they have billions, sometimes trillions. So the fact that this thing is so tiny is exactly why it can live in your pocket and still be so powerful. Okay, so what's the secret sauce? It's a cool little concept called function calling. And don't worry, it sounds way more technical than it is. All it means is that the AI can understand what you say in normal, everyday language, like, hey, turn on my flashlight, and then translate that into the actual code your phone needs to, well, turn on the flashlight. It's the ultimate translator between you and your device. But hold on, a model this small can't just be amazing at everything right out of the box. It has to be trained, specialized for the job. And this is where we get to its real superpower, something called fine-tuning. So when you first get FunctionGemma, it's kind of like a super smart intern, you know? It's got all this raw talent and potential, but it doesn't know the specific way you need things done yet. It's a generalist. And when you need a job done right every single time, you can't have a generalist, you need a specialist. And the numbers back this up big time. When Google tested the basic model on a bunch of common phone tasks, guess what? It only succeeded 58% of the time. Oof, that is barely better than flipping a coin. An assistant that messes up almost half the time isn't an assistant, it's a liability. You need something you can count on. So how do you take that smart but clueless intern and turn them into an absolute rock star? That's the fine-tuning process. And it's actually pretty straightforward. First, you just give it a bunch of examples of what you want it to do. Then, you let it train on that specific data. And boom, you've got yourself a brand new expert model ready to go. And check out the difference this makes. The success rate just skyrockets, all the way from that disappointing 58% to a solid 85%. That is a massive jump in reliability. Just by showing it what to do, this tiny little model starts performing like an expert, holding its own against models that are way, way bigger. Okay, so that's all the theory, but what does this actually look like when you use it? Let's see it in action. Now, what's really cool is that Google didn't keep this to themselves. They made it open source. They put out this demo called Mobile Actions, and it's the perfect example. It shows exactly how this fine-tuned model takes your words and turns them into real actions on your phone. And I'm not talking about weird, complicated stuff. It's the things you actually want to do every day. You know, things like turn on the flashlight, or hey, make a calendar event for lunch tomorrow, or add John to my contacts. Simple stuff. And it just does it, instantly, and 100% offline. And just to show off a little, they even built a whole game with it called Tiny Garden. It's this little voice-controlled farming game. You literally just say stuff like, plant some sunflowers in the top row, and the AI figures out the right game commands. The whole game runs on the phone, no internet connection needed. How cool is that? Okay, let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. Why does any of this matter? Why is this such a game changer?
Well, because this isn't just another small update, it's a fundamental shift in how we think about personal AI.
It really boils down to three huge benefits. One, total privacy. Seriously, your data physically never leaves your phone. Two, it's instant. With no internet lag, things happen the moment you say them. And three, it costs nothing to run. Once it's on your phone, it's yours to use as much as you want, for free, forever.
And if you remember one thing, let it be this. This marks a shift from an AI that just talks to an AI that does. We're so used to chatbots, right? Things we just have conversations with. FunctionGemma is about turning that AI into an agent, something that can actually control your apps and your phone to get stuff done in the real world.
And because this is all open source, it's not just a tool for Google anymore. It's a tool for everyone, for developers, creators, for you. So the real question isn't just what Google is going to build with this. It's what are we going to build? So I'll just leave you with that thought. What will you create when your apps can finally, truly act on your words?